you have an idea of your bake. It seems like you've gotten down the fermentation and you're working on these little bits. Like, what other tips or strategies or practices that people can implement in their day to day to make the pizza of their dreams?
So like just like anything, right? Like you want to find something you're passionate about, and stick to it. So if that is pizza, Neapolitan or New York style, or you want to do that New Haven, or you're trying to do a Detroit or grandma style, like whatever it is. If you're really passionate about pizza or all of them, right? Just stay at it. That consistency is key. That's how, me and the wife were successful with the weight loss. That's how basically anything that I've accomplished, that I feel like is way beyond what I deserve to have accomplished, is done by just doing that every single day. It's like, you know, the whole one day at a time generic cliche is so true. And that's really been, the key to success I've had with my pizzas is that every day I'm like basically either toying around with a recipe or cooking a new way or adding a new flour into the mix, literally. Just doing everything I can to stay at it and to stay true to the passion. Like I really do think if you're using love as the forefront of what you're trying to do, whether it's you loving it or loving the process of it or loving, what you see when you give your, pizza to someone, or, you just love the act of, making pizza, whatever it is. If you really are passionate and you really care and you just stay at it, it'll not only get easier, it'll also get harder, which is a good thing, right? I always try to challenge myself with it. So, when I was able to easily use 70% hydration dough, I upped it to make it harder and harder. And I think you always want to challenge yourself, and you always want to push yourself to achieve what you didn't think used to be possible, with whatever it is you're doing in life. So that's true with pizza. It's true with relationships. It's true with, working out. It's true with, success in all walks of life. So, um, I've never been one to really conform to what people say you should or shouldn't do. But I think you should follow your heart, and that's something I think everyone should do.
I, I was doing this research on you, like watching some of your videos because you've had the spotlight on you and your wife losing all of this weight, and I think that one quote that stood out that you just mentioned is just taking it day by day. And, I love that it can be applied in so many things in just like the self improvement process, whether that is dough or losing weight. And if you have time, I would love to kind of explore just the win, the win that you had of like taking your life and, can I say, drastically changing
Yeah,
it to a healthier
yeah,
lifestyle?
no, for sure. Like, for me, I was at a point where like I was really, really convinced, and this was before the pandemic, mind you. I was really convinced I was going to die very soon, right? Like I was very heavy. I was 440 pounds or so. And I was like struggling to tie my shoes. Like nothing was easy for me, and it was all hard. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it my all. I'm going to, I'm going to lose some weight. I'm going to do this. Like it's this or not seeing my kids grow up. I've told people before, but like this is very true. My mom told me on her deathbed that the only regret she had is not seeing her grandkids grow up. And that was my kids. And I'm like, I'm scared I'm not going to see my own children grow up. If I don't do something. So, I really tried to make that change for the better. And it wasn't easy, but every day I could do. Like I can do one day of eating healthy. I can do one day of going to the gym. I can't do 6 months, but I can do one day. I'm just going to do that day over and over. I'm just going to do that one day. And I know it's the same thing for people who are struggling with addiction to things that aren't food, to, substances, to gambling, to sex, to, whatever it is. Like if you really struggle with something, don't worry about quitting it forever. Just worry about having one good day. If you can just have one good day, you can repeat that day. And that's the key. It's so overblown when we try things, and we think if we can't do it right now, if it's not perfect, then I might as well not even try. If I'm not going to lose 200 pounds in the next week, there's no point doing it. If I'm not going to make a high hydration pizza that, tastes like I'm eating a cloud in the next 2 months, why even try? It took me a whole year to really get to the point where I'm like happy with that end result. It took me 2 years to lose enough weight where I was like, okay, I can, go do what I need to do. It takes time. I did a lot of a work within hip hop music for a while, where at the beginning, I was really bad. We're talking, a heavy white Jewish boy who wants to be a rapper. Like that was not something that was feasible. Rhythmically challenged Ethan is not good at this. But then, slowly I'm working at, my rhythm. I'm working at writing lyrics, and next thing you know, I'm winning, battle rap competitions, and I'm, recording albums in Minnesota at like really nice studios. And it's like, how did this happen? Well, the same way every time I'm successful. I dropped out of high school and got my GED when I was like 17, and I was like, I'm just not academically minded. That's not the route I go. But then same idea, slowly starting my way at a community college, doing my work, going to grad school, getting in, graduating summa cum laude, with a 4.0, master's degree. It's just about changing your focus, and it's not about where you are, and it's not about where you're going to end up. It's about the journey there. And if every day you work on that journey, it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to be successful because you're giving it your all. And even if giving it your all fails, you're true to yourself and you win.
Just to catch everyone up here, like I was late to my interview with Ethan, and my wife and I were just having a heated discussion about how positivity and mindset and thinking that we can take things just one day at a time is not as easy for some people. And I think I get that. But does it help when someone like you and me just talk about being positive all the time? Does it help motivate people, or is there a different way that people should be looking at life depending on where they are?
Yeah, I think the positivity is key. And that's really, it's contagious, it's infectious, but at the same time, like you have to be realistic, and you have to, understand, for one, there are limitations, and two, you don't always have to be plucky, right? Like part of the struggle of life is trying when you're not happy, and I'd say that's like 85% of my time. I'm a happy person and I enjoy things a lot, but I'm also very cynical. Like I am a very, very pessimistic human being. My glass is almost always half full of water unless I'm hydrating my pizza dough. Like it's really a situation where the success comes not because you're happy, but because you're trying to be happy despite everything telling you the contrary. It's about being as upset with somebody as you possibly feel you can be, but not reacting to those emotions, in the moment. And it's about, looking at an insurmountable mountain and not thinking, okay, I'm going to climb this, but hey, I bet I can make it up, 15 feet before I fall this time, and that's what it's about. Knowing realistically that everything isn't sunny and everything isn't wonderful, but the end result can be if you don't give up.
Mm. It's also sometimes filtering too. I read somewhere that you did go through those 1% of comments on Reddit where like people were giving you negative stuff, and it's like, do you choose to dwell? Or I guess maybe obviously nobody wants to dwell, but like how do you not?
Well, so like,
How do you
okay, yeah,
not
it's
dwell on those
interesting. So
comments?
one of my favorite musicians was a guy by the name of Michael Larson. He passed away like over a decade ago at 29, like all the wonderful musicians do. But he had printed out a shirt, right, with all the negative like critiques people gave him of his music as he shifted from hip hop into like experimental jazz, freestyle, funkadelic type of awesomeness. And everybody hated his work. Like they're like, no, we want to see you rapping still. And so like they'd have all these mean, nasty comments. So what he did is he just printed them all on a shirt and then played his show with all those, things out there, like wearing them like a badge of honor, right? Like, this is what people say, like, it so doesn't bother me. I'm going to celebrate that. And that's what I did on Reddit. So that gave me the idea to print out a shirt of like the meanest comments I could find, like, oh, he's still fat, or, he's going to gain it all back, or, like any of the meanest things, and worse than that, swear words, all that. Like, and some of them were funny, and they make me laugh. And, so like, but I printed them all on a shirt, and then I posted that, and that, got me like another 200,000 views, and, more people contacting me to learn about the situation. So it's about taking that negative energy and harnessing it, and making light of it. Like, there's one group on Facebook that I post on, knowing that they're going to tear down the style of pizza. Like, they hate the style of pizza I make, but I still post there. And I make fun of it too. Like, the other day I made a pizza where I didn't even put any toppings on it, right? It was just literally a giant ball, and I was like, okay, and next to a bowl of soup. And that's my post now, because you say it's a bread bowl. So here, I'll actually make a bread bowl for you guys. Like, it's about having fun with it and not letting, that negativity impact you in a way that hurts you, but using it in a way that inspires you, and using that as your motivation. Like, yeah, there are always going to be people who want to tear you down, but they want to tear themselves down. And so they're just using you as a mirror, right? They're not doing it because they actually feel like you deserve to be destroyed. It's because they feel bad about themselves. And, that sounds cliche, but it really is true from a psychological standpoint. People who hurt have that whole misery loves company thing. So they lash out on people. And it just is what it is.
I was going to say, like, the example you gave of the t-shirt was a perfect answer and response. I want to take it one level deeper and say, like, that individual who was wearing the shirt on concert, oh my goodness, already living an awesome life, already has a lot of ground to stand on. You receiving those comments, the 1% of comments, you are already celebrating your success of losing X amount of pounds. How does someone who is not as successful or just starting their journey or in that rut able to overcome that toxic negativity that they hear, or are unable to believe in a positive to look at life in a lens of positivity?
Yeah, well, I mean, so one is, you have to understand that, by playing into that negative energy, you are giving that negative energy life, like you're breathing life into it. Every time it infects you and impacts your day, all you're doing is spreading it, right? You're just letting it like go and letting it flourish, and you're, breathing life into it. And if you ignore it, then it's quelled, like it's not there. So, if you want to, spend your days reading all the negative comments online you can about the things you love, you could do that 24/7. No matter what you love, you can find somebody online who hates it and tells you why they hate it, and probably has a logical, well thought out reasoning behind why everything you love in life is actually horrible, and you could, spend your time doing that, or you could go look at the things you love and be happy. So, I mean, it's all about where you want to focus that energy. Do you want to focus it into the negativity? Do you want to feed into it? Or do you want to try to feed that happiness, or try your best to be happy despite the negativity you recognize? And I think that's key for success in this life. I think it's key for success in most things. Maybe not for a movie critic, but pretty much everything else, like being able to look at the positive or ignore the negative is just clutch. And you're not going to make everybody happy no matter what you do. So you got to recognize that, and you got to, pursue your loves. And, you got to understand that's true in relationships, and it's true across the board. Like, it's not going to always be sunshine. It's not always going to be happy, puppy dogs and ice cream. But, a lot of times it is. And even if it's Brussels sprouts and lions and tigers, maybe you can chill with them for a bit, maybe you'll learn something. So
I love to believe that relationships or anything is really just about, it's putting in the hard work where you can, and really just being accepting of change and being understanding, and I wanted to just get your feedback on how you and your wife, like you all didn't open a business together by, losing weight together, but you worked on a joint
Yeah.
venture of,
Well, so like,
working towards a healthy
yeah.
lifestyle.
So, and it's funny too, because like we both have, struggled with weight our whole lives, gain a little bit, lose a lot, gain a lot, like kind of the yo-yo thing. But we did, decide, okay, we're going to kind of motivate each other with this. So, we moved out to Vegas, for example. And when we got out here, I gained back like 60 pounds with carbs, and she didn't really, she lost like another 20. Right. And I saw that and I was like, okay, now you're motivating me the way I had motivated you to start the journey. Cause I had lost like 60 pounds or so before she even started. So it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, this can be done. You view them and you see what it is. And, you can choose to be bitter and jealous of somebody else's success, or you can be like, yeah, they did that. Damn, they did that. I can do that too, and that's what you gotta tell yourself. And it's hard, there's no perfect relationship. There's many days when my wife is very upset that I'm still making pizza for dinner. When she wants to have, a date night, and then we'll go out to eat, and then, I'll order pizza. She'll be like, why are you still, ordering pizza? Like, let's, expand our horizons. I'm like, but I'm so interested in this, and it's even the things we love, can be a struggle. Like she loves walking, and I'll be like, yeah, 2 miles is enough, and she'll be like, but don't you want to keep, going? And I'll be like, no, I want to go in the hot tub now, and it's like, I'll still walk with her, and then she'll eat my pizza. And it's about, compromise. You have to figure out where you guys can meet in the middle at all things. And it's hard though. Like, I think we put out this image as a society that relationships need to be perfect, or the process of, what you do for a living needs to be perfect. And it's just not reality. Like working with sourdough, like for my pizzas, is a great example of how things sometimes go a little, iffy, because sourdough can do its own thing. It's not as predictable as using yeast, and certainly relationships with somebody who's interesting and exciting and fun and, pushes all your buttons is not going to be the same thing as a, very bland, boring relationship where you have no trouble, where you have no problems. My wife is a firecracker, and she's clever and funny and exciting, but she keeps me on my toes, and she is the first person to tell me when I'm screwing up in life. She's the first person to tell me, oh, that was a stupid, stupid thing you did, and you need that, and you can't have a situation where you and somebody you have a great relationship with never fight or argue or see differently about things, because it's not going to work out.
I would have to say that my wife is my biggest motivation, my biggest influencer. She is my supporter, and she challenges me the most. And I think this is hopefully helpful for people to hear when they're choosing to go into business with their wives, or trying to build a lifestyle where they are going into business and have a spouse, because it's it's going to be work, right? It's going to be work. First of all, I want to say thank you for being vulnerable there, and sharing your experience. And hopefully, I wasn't too vulnerable. But is there any and do you have any closing thoughts or comments, suggestions, questions for the listeners to digest upon, after this little bit that we
Yeah,
did?
I mean, I just think everyone out there should think to themselves, what do I love, and why am I not doing it more? You know, um, is there a good reason why you're not pursuing your passions? Is there a good reason why you're not doing the things you love? Um, do you feel like you really don't have enough time to pursue those things? Because I'm guessing the answer is you should be doing that stuff. And I'm not happy when I'm not pursuing my passions, when I'm not doing things I love. Doesn't mean I can escape all the responsibilities that I, need to do. It doesn't mean I don't have to go to work anymore. It doesn't mean I don't have to do the dishes. It just means that I need to arrange my life in a way where I can do both the things I have to. And hopefully I enjoy those things, and also the things that I love. And then hopefully eventually they converge, and I find myself doing the things I love more and more, because that's what I have to do. So yeah.
That's seriously where I'm at in my life right now. I do have to do the dishes after this talk, but I also, know to make time for my family and know to make time for the business that I have on the weekends, Sunday, right now when we're talking, so that I can, grow the passions that I have while maintaining my
Yeah,
responsibility.
I mean, yeah, and that's it. It's very inspiring, I think, to see what you're doing right here with this podcast. This is that example, like exemplified. You have something you love, and it's something you're pursuing, and it's opening up new avenues for you, and it's giving people like me an opportunity to share my story with the world, and that's so awesome to me, and it's so incredible. And I just think more people should be doing the iDrift thing, and they should find what they love, and they should explore it, and they should, do everything they can to share it with the world. I really think you are the case study that I'm kind of referring to, of somebody following that passion, somebody doing that. And, that's what I hope I'm doing. And I hope I'm inspiring other people to do, and share that with people. Like, I think I stopped counting when I had helped like random internet strangers lose over 1,000 pounds, when I was like in the deepness of it. And now, that more I'm sharing about pizzas online than I am like my weight loss story. I've had people in, parts of Africa I'd never heard of, making my pizza recipe. I've had people in Egypt, making my pizza recipe. I've had conversations with people, all over the world, sharing with me how they've made my pizza. And it's just so awesome. And it's such a wonderful feeling to know that, my passion has spread, globally in some regards, and it's just like, that's so cool. I could hide my secret recipes and guard them closely and not share it with the world. And, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, it's top secret. Like, what? Why? Like, why are you doing that? Even if you're an amazing pizza maker, like, why are you keeping that secret recipe? You really think it's not the skill and the technique? You really think it's just those ingredients? It isn't. Give other people the opportunity to do it too. So that's why I share what I do. That's why I'm out there, saying this is how you do it. I feel really good when I eat this type of pizza. I hope you do too. I don't want you to have to eat pizza all the time and gain weight from it, or eat pizza all the time and feel gross afterwards. I want you to feel wonderful and rejuvenated when you do so. I want you to feel fantastic like I do. That's why I tried to help people lose weight. It's why I tried to, develop a recipe where other people can recreate it. It's great to have that sharing of knowledge to inspire other people and be inspired by them. It's just, it's fantastic. I hope more and more people out there recognize that there's good that they can do with what they're working with, even if they don't recognize it. I would have never in a million years, never thought that I would be on a pizza podcast that I love, talking about my pizzas and my journey. Like, this is magical. And anyone out there can accomplish so much if they just try. I think the number one thing is people are scared to try. They're scared to put themselves out there. As a teacher, I had the first time in the history, I think, of teaching where I had a bad observation by my principal the other day. I've been observed 61 times in the 11 years I've been a teacher. Like, every year I have like 4 to 5 observations. And I thought, you know what? I teach emotionally, vulnerable students who have social and behavioral disabilities and what have you. And we're going to do charades. Okay. We're going to do charades for the principal about our emotions. And it went awful, as you can imagine. I mean, like, comedically bad, Chris Farley dripping with sweat style, like, just bad, like fumbling over words. But I took that risk, and I could have gone the safe route, and it would have been fine. But I took a risk, and it didn't work out for me. But it was a risk that I took that could have paid off. And if you don't take those risks, you'll never know. You gotta put yourself out there, and you gotta try things that, go against the grain and maybe put you out of your comfort zone, hopefully put you out of your comfort zone. And that'll be, kind of that ticket to success, I think.
I vibe with so many of those things that you said. And I think everyone has a different place in life. Everyone's risk tolerance is different. I think risk is a little bit of a key piece of it all, right? Whether it's a 1% risk, 100% risk or even like a 0.1% risk. I think it does take a little bit of risk. I think it takes a little bit of want and desire. And I think it's hard work and time. And I also realize though that everyone is in a different situation, but definitely, think of it, maybe conceptualize it and try to understand it and do what it
Yeah.
takes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I imagine when you were starting up this podcast, it was a very, very different avenue than you were probably expecting to be spending, your Sunday afternoon, right? I'm sure this was not something that was extremely easy and comfortable at first, and now, I'm talking to you, and I feel like we might as well be on Sirius Radio because you are in control of these conversations. Like you are you got it down, and I'm sure that wasn't easy at the beginning. I'm sure there was a lot of time spent like, should I be doing this? And now you're bringing, the opportunity for people to hear and learn about these things, and it's just cool. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I hope more and more people will try to do. I mean, maybe it's the teacher side of me that thinks everybody should be teaching something and we should all be learning at all times, but I just think that's the human condition. I think if you don't expand upon your horizons, you become stagnant, and then that's boringness. And I'd much rather fail at something exciting than succeed at being boring.
I love that. I'm almost tempted to end it here, but I always want to give my guests the chance to answer these two questions. Is there a mistake in pizza, business, or life that someone can avoid that we haven't discussed already, or that you want to, expand upon that we have discussed?
So the mistake I think that people make, with pizza and with life is, being afraid of risk, that risk aversion, not trying new things, not putting yourself out there, just going that safe route. I think most people will find, much to their surprise, that if they do something long enough, they'll get pretty damn good at it. And sometimes it's things you don't like even doing. Like, I know people who have worked the same job for, 25 years, hate their job, but damn, are they good at it? Like they are so good at it. Like nobody can stay, and everybody knows that person. Like they're the crotchety, old relative who complains about their job, but they're the best at it. So just be careful with what you're becoming the best at, because you're probably going to become really good at something. Do you want to be, 80 years old, sitting there at a bar, like, well, I know all about how to clean toilets. Like, I mean, maybe you do. Like, maybe you're very interested in whatever it is, and not to knock custodians, because some of the coolest people I know are very passionate custodians and that are really awesome. But is that your passion? Like, are you really, really going to be happy when all said and done that, you did this or that in place of, and again, that's that balance, right? Like, do what you love, right? Do what you need to do. Hopefully they converge, but if not, if I never get to sell a single pizza and it's just me in my backyard posting on Facebook and Instagram, that's a win for me. If I'm able to make it so my life is at one point selling and sharing my pizzas with people, that's the cherry on top. But the only way I lose is if I stop making those pizzas, right? And I start to just, have a, lean cuisine or a, dinner at home every night, that is just boring and not bringing me joy, So you got to find the things you love, like if you don't, you're going to run that risk of finding out you became an expert at something you hate when all's said and done.
It kind of reminds me of what, all the great pizza makers say is like, figure out what your end result is and work backwards. And if cleaning toilets and being the king of that is what you want to be known for, figure out how to get there. That's cool. But if I want to be, the best podcaster out there, I got to figure out how to do it. If you want to make the best pizza out there, you got to figure out how to do it. And I feel like at first, describing what you want and then figuring it out.
I mean,
whatever that
Yeah,
may be.
absolutely. I mean, I'm a big nerd, so I always go back to superheroes. Like in all of my analogies, it's always about a superhero, and now I'm seeing one presenting itself, so I must share. Like, Superman writes stories about the traffic during the day, right? Like no matter how awesome you are at what you do, there's still that responsibility part. When he's not shooting webs up and, swinging around the city, Spider-Man's taking pictures of flowers, right? Like you still have your day job, even those that we idolize do. Even your favorite pizza maker crunches the numbers and does the business expenditures, and like it's not all going to be fun and games. But if you stay true to yourself and it's a passion or it becomes your business or it becomes your way of life, fantastic. But there's no reason you have to give up those things you love. One of my best friends growing up, right? He became a professor of psychology at a nice university and taught. And then he quit the academia to play League of Legends professionally for 2 years and got to like the 99.7 percentile, but not enough to make money because you needed to be 99.8 and above or some such. But he tried it, and he did the thing he loves, and now he's teaching again. But it's like, yeah, like how awesome is that? And now he can still play his video games and competitively compete. It's not going to be his life. It's not going to be his career, most likely. But you don't have to give them up and go try it because we all live one life. So you might as well make the best of it and fail at something you love and continue doing it for fun than not try. I think that's so important. You got to put yourself out there. You got to try these things. And the biggest risk we all face at all times is just not trying or being too scared to try or, shutting the door on an opportunity that you're not even going to explore. So, yeah, just do it. Just do it, Be a Nike slogan, for God's sake. Just do it.
Check. Thank you. Thank you. What do you want to leave the audience with today?
Well, my name's Ethan. I make some pretty cool sourdough pizzas, I think, naturally leavened pizzas, whatever you want to call it. And I think you can too. So why don't you go ahead, start up a sourdough starter, take some water, take some flour, combine them, every day, throw out a little bit of it and add some more flour and water until it's bubbly and then make one of my pizzas. There's lots and lots of tutorials on how to get a sourdough starter. And if you don't want to, there's a lot of people out there with them. So post online, go to your, Facebook Marketplace or Nextdoor app or whatever you have, find somebody with one, have them give you a piece of it, feed it, and make yourself a naturally leavened pizza. You can do it in your home oven. You don't need to have a fantastic one, but I love my dome. Shout out Gosney. So yeah, just do what you do and make it so you're doing something you love and give sourdough pizza making a try because I like it. And, if you don't like it, you probably didn't do it right. So keep working at it.
What a lighthearted way to end. Thank you so much for being on the show and giving me your time and really speaking to me. Yeah. I appreciate it, Ethan.
Thank you, Andrew. Like I said, I was a fan of yours before. I think you were a fan of mine. So thank you so much for hitting me up and giving me this opportunity to spend my Sunday morning rambling about pizzas because, yeah, I had a good time.